Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to our Minnesota Twins discussion videos. And in this one, we're going to be talking about someone, well, we haven't really mentioned a lot. We might have mentioned his name a couple times, but we haven't really talked about him. And he's been on the injury reserve list. He's been on the DL. He got traded. He's been all over the place, except for on the field, and that is Michael Pineda. So we're going to be talking about him today, my expectations for him, how I expect, he will do based on his past results, what he's thinking, what I'm thinking, basically how that all works together with him in the Twins organization this season. So, like I said, he was on the DL for all of 2018, part of 2017. He has not seen the field in a long time, so that's going to it's something the Twins would do. Let's just put that out there first. This is somebody the Twins wanted to pick up last season. They did, and this is what the Twins have been working with pitching for a while. So we got Irving Santana, was injured. We had to work with him. Kyle Gibson in the past, Oda Rizzi, these guys who weren't quite where we wanted to. We have never really had a solid pitcher, probably since, Johan. I mean, Bartolo Colon is another guy who was just kind of iffy, and then we brought him in. Johan Santana was one of our last great pitchers, and now we obviously have Jose Barrios. Gibson had a great season last year, but this is somebody that makes sense for the Twins, and that's just what it is, because they like to take pitchers who are a little bit older. He's only 30, but a little bit older. Does have a little bit of experience. He was with the Yankees, so it's just kind of an iffy situation because he was on the DL for so long. So let's just jump over all that and get into his stats first of all. So let's talk about his stats. So he came into the year in 2011. He was out 2012 and 2013. This is what I'm saying. This is a guy that the Twins, unfortunately, like to pick up, is players who have been on the DL, who have struggled a little bit, who aren't a great ace. They don't want to spend money on pitching. We've seen them go spend money on players. We just saw the extension on Kepler and Polanco. We saw them go spend some money on Cruz, Morrison, another guy like that. We don't see this with pitchers. We saw Oda Rizzi, and that's about it. I mean, that's about it. We went and picked him up, but nobody else. We drafted Gibson, Barrios. Nobody else has really come through the organization. We've always gone out and got these mid to older guys who have struggled or been on the injury list. So he didn't play in 2012, 2013. In 2011, though, he was an all-star. This is with Seattle. He went 9-10, 3.74 ERA, started 28 games, didn't have a shutout, didn't have a complete game, none of that. Pitched 171 innings, 76 runs, 133 hits, 18 home runs, and 173 strikeouts. So he was great. I mean, he was great in his first year. 2011 was a great season for him. 2014, when he got to the Yankees, he went 5-5 with a 1.89 ERA. Only played in 13 games, but that ERA is pretty good. Obviously, anything under 2 is great, even if he only pitched in 76 innings. 18 runs on 56 hits and 7 walks, 5 home runs given up. I mean, that is a stellar season, even though he only played the 13 games. 2015, a little bit better. Well, win-wise, 12 wins, 10 losses, a 4.37 ERA, 27 games played, 160 innings, 176 hits, 83 runs, 21 home runs given up, and 156 strikeouts. So we move into 2015, 2016, mid-20s. The ERA, not great, 4, it's probably about average. 12 wins, again, probably about average. 10 losses, about average. So, again, he's an average pitcher, but, one thing that's really great about him is he is striking out a lot of guys. He strikes out a ton of guys compared to his competition. In 2016, he had 10.6 strikeouts per 9. That led the majors. He had a 4.82 ERA with 6 wins, 12 losses. So, even though he was not doing too great win-wise or loss-wise, he was getting a lot of strikeouts. 175 innings, with 207 strikeouts. There you go. That's what I'm saying. Led the majors in strikeouts per 9. Was up there in strikeouts for the league that year, and he had a good season. And then in 2017, before he got injured again, 8-4, 4.39 ERA, 100 innings pitched, 103 hits on 55 runs, 20 home runs given up, 92 strikeouts, and still a strikeout per 9 above 8.5 at 8.6. So now we've gone through all the stats. I mean, this is a guy who he's a mid to older guy, but he's going to be consistent with strikeouts. And now, is that going to happen? Is it still going to happen once he comes off the DL again and was traded or signed by the Twins? Now what? That's really the question that the Twins have to look at. You know, in reports that I've seen, it says Michael Pineda is good. He feels good, but the Twins are still a little iffy about where they want to put him. Obviously, there's been talks about Barrios being the ace, Gibson still up there, 1-2. Odorizzi's maybe the 3. And then you've got the 4 and the 5 who are really just kind of out there for anybody to take. Martin Perez is probably looking at the 4 or 5 right now, and then the other one would go to Michael Pineda. Is that what the Twins really want? I'm not sure. Because, you know, we've seen the struggles last year with Odorizzi. He was very streaky. He would go 1 game and 2 innings, and then he'd go 5 innings, and then he'd go 7 with a perfect game, and then he'd go 2 again. It just, you know, this is what we saw from the Twins last year, from basically everybody, but Odorizzi, you know, in particular. And now we have Michael Pineda coming off the bench, coming off of a season and a half of not playing with the arm injury. What can we expect from him? This is my expectations. I want to see him get 10 wins. That's a big thing. 10 wins. I don't see him being a Barrios, maybe contending for, you know, a Cy Young or an All-Star season, but 10 wins, 10 losses, I'd be okay with that. 500-ish wins, losses. ERA under 4. I think if he can get his ERA under 4, that would be a win for him. Anything under 4.5 is going to be good. It's going to be fine. But if he can get his ERA under 4, I would like it. I would think that would be a reasonable goal to shoot for. Anything under 4, you know, I don't expect it to be anything above, 4, but I would not like to, I don't think it would happen where it would drop to something like 3. So a 3.5 to 4 is probably reasonable. 500, like I said, I want to see him pitch. Coming off this injury, hasn't seen the field in a year and a half. I want to see him pitch 150 innings. And I don't know if we'll actually get to that point. If he pitches in 30 games, which would still be a stretch, 150 innings, I don't think that's too much to ask for, but he's only pitched in 30 games once, and that was in 2016 when he pitched 32. Otherwise, he's gotten 28, 27, and the rest have been in the teens. So, is he going to be reliable in the long term? It's a long season. I don't know. But the main thing I want to see from him, regardless of any of the other stats, if the other stats don't pan out, I want to see him still striking out guys. And I think that's why the Twins picked him up in the first place, was for the strikeouts. He's been over 7 strikeouts per 9 every season. His walks have been low, and that's the point. That's the point the Twins were trying to make when they got and picked him out. I want to see above a 6 to 7 strikeout per 9, an under a 2 walk. So I think that's reasonable. If he's striking out, let's just say if he strikes out 100 guys, I want to see less than, I don't think 30 walks. 30 walks, 100 guys, 100 strikeouts, that would not be a bad season. I think that's a reasonable expectation for him. Again, I don't think he'll be a Jose Barrios player. I don't think he'll be a Kyle Gibson player. I don't even think he'll be an Odorizzi player. I think he'll be in a nice 4 spot, at least for this season. If we want to, bring him back and extend his deal, that's fine. We can do that, but he's got to prove it, obviously, this year. And with those expectations, a recap once again, about a 500 record. Either way, 10-10 would be my goal. Under a 4 ERA, about a 3.5 to 4. Innings pitched about 150, at least 100 strikeouts, and I think under 30 walks would be reasonable. Like I said, though, I don't think there's that much pressure on him to do well since he's coming off the injury, but I think that is definitely something that he needs to work for, and if the Twins, like it, they'll continue to, roll with him, but I don't see him being, a 3 or 4 guy. Maybe a 4 guy, but, lower in the rotation, a 4 or 5 would make more sense. So that is my opinion on Michael Pineda. I want to know what you guys think. Coming from the Yankees, he was decent there. He had a good team around him. He's going to the Twins, where they've spent a lot of money this season. They've really tried to push for a playoff, maybe a playoff berth. Cleveland is sold off. So, I mean, the Twins look like they're the team in the AL Central right now to do something. Is Michael Pineda going to help or hurt that cause? What are your reasonable expectations for him? How is he going to do? Like I said, I think he's a nice 4 guy for the rotation. I think he'll just help out a lot, but I don't expect too much from him. So that's my take on it. I want to know you guys' takes down in the comments below. That's all I got for today's video, and I will see you all next time for more tomorrow. Thanks for watching.